माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी कुंज बिहार हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम जय राधा मदन मोहन राधा मदन मोहन राधे मदन मोहन राधा मदन मोहन राधा जय जगन्नाथ बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा जय गौरनिताय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय गौरनिताय जय गौर प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। Hare Krishna. So reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 28. This chapter entitled Puranjan becomes a woman in the next life. Text 64. Okay. So you can recite. Evam sa manaso hamso hamsena pratibodhitaha स्वस्थस्तद व्यभिचारेण नष्टाम आप पुनः स्मृतिम एवं स मानसो हमसो हमसेन प्रतिबोधितः स्वस्थस्तद व्यभिचारेण नष्टाम आप पुनः स्मृतिम एवं स मानसो हमसो हमसेन प्रतिबोधितः स्वस्थस्तद्व्याभिचारेण नष्टाम आप पुनः स्मृतिम। एवं स मानसो हमसो हमसेन प्रतिबोधितः हमसेन प्रतिबोधितः स्वस्थस्तद्व्याभिचारेण नष्टाम आप पुनः स्मृतिम एवं सो मानसो हमसो हमसेन प्रतिबोधितः स्वस्थस्तद्व्याभिचारेण नष्टाम आप पुनः स्मृतिम। एवं स मानसो हमसो हमसेन प्रतिबोधितः स्वस्थस्तद्व्यभिचारेण नष्टाम आप पुनः स्मृतिम। Word to word meaning. Kindly repeat. Evam, thus, saha, he, the individual soul, manasaha, living together within the heart, hamsaha, like the swan, hamsena, by the other swan, pratibodhitaha, being instructed, swasthaha, situated in self-realization, tad vyabhicharena, by being separated from the super soul, nashtam, which was lost, ap, gained, punaha, again, smrutim, real memory. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charana Arvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. In this way, both swans live together in the heart. When the one swan is instructed by the other, he is situated in his constitutional position. This means he regains his original Krishna consciousness which was lost because of his material attraction. Purport. Here it is clearly stated, Hamso Hamsena Pratibodhitaha. The individual soul and the super soul are both compared to swans, Hamsa, because they are white or uncontaminated. One swan, however, is superior and is the instructor of the other. When the inferior swan is separated from the other swan, he is attracted to material enjoyment. This is the cause of his fall down. When he hears the instructions of the other swan, he understands his real position and is again revived to his original consciousness. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, comes down, avatar, to deliver his devotees and kill the demons. He also gives his sublime instructions in the form of Bhagavad Gita. The individual soul has to understand this position by the grace of the Lord and the spiritual master, because the text of Bhagavad Gita cannot be understood simply by academic qualifications. One has to learn Bhagavad Gita from a realized soul. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadeshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Enquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth. Thus, one has to select a bona fide spiritual master and become enlightened to his original consciousness. In this way, the individual soul can understand that he is always subordinate to the super soul. As soon as he declines to remain subordinate and tries to become the enjoyer, he begins his material conditioning. When he abandons the spirit of being an individual owner or enjoyer, he becomes situated in his liberated state. The word swastha, meaning situated in one's original position, is very significant in this word, in this verse. When one gives up his unwanted attitude of superiority, he becomes situated in his original position. The word tad vyabhicharena is also significant, for it indicates that when one is separated from God due to disobedience, his real sense is lost. Again, by the grace of Krishna and Guru, he can be properly situated in his liberated position. These verses are spoken by Srila Narad Muni, and his purpose in speaking them is to revive our consciousness. Although the living entity and the super soul are one in quality, the individual soul has to pursue the instruction of the super soul. That is the state of liberation. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaiham Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Vitamsha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratvishe Namaha हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणम् जय श्री राधा मदन मोहन की जय। Hare Krishna. So before speaking on this elevated topic of Srimad Bhagavatam, I seek blessings of all the assembled Vaishnavas, especially senior Vaishnavas, His Grace Anandamay Prabhu, and all the senior Vaishnavas here, that even I am utterly unqualified. I have been instructed, so just as a service, I tried my best. This was a surprise test, and I tried my best to avoid, but just to respect the instructions of superiors, I will try to render this service. So I seek blessings of all the devotees that whatever I speak is in parampara, it is pleasing to all of you and purifies my heart while I render this service. Hare Krishna. So today, before we discuss the verse, today is a special day of, according to the Vedic calendar, this is the beginning of the new year. So wish you all very happy new year. Not the English one. Sorry, I'm speaking English, but so I think here it is called as Ugadi, right? In South India, it's Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka, I think. Actually, that is quite actually correct way of Ugadi. Actually, that is little changed. Upper branch it is called as, because it should actually be Yuga Adi. Yuga Adi. Adi means beginning. Yuga is time, or the different yugas, the creation basically. So today is the day when Lord Brahma started creation, it is mentioned. So that's why this day is very special. This is considered as one of the best muhurtas, one of the important muhurtas where one does not have to see a panchang and all to find the auspicious muhurta. Whole day today is auspicious. So all auspicious things can be done without even finding a muhurta on today's day. So this is very special, and different parts of India it is celebrated in different names and different festivities, right? So wish you all uh, you know sincere my best wishes on this particular occasion, and also seek all of your blessings. Just like today is a call is a day of celebration. Everywhere people would be putting different, what do you call it, mango leaves, decorating homes, and there will be feast. And we are also waiting that the class is separating probably. So just like this is definitely a day of celebration, but more than that, these events are also an opportunity for introspection. Why these events are kept in our culture, why this at all very regularly we celebrate, so that we are reminded again. As Srimad Bhagavatam, so many places in Srimad Bhagavatam there is description about kala, time factor. So how this kala is going, we just count numbers. For us, time sometimes just becomes number, right? How many, what is the age? 20, 25, 30, it's just number. But with that number, very precious commodity, probably the only wealth which we have been given by the Lord, the real wealth is this time. And this is going away with every passing of this moment. Srimad Bhagavatam second canto has this famous verse, Ayur harati vai pumsam udyan astyam chayan asau tasyarte yat kshano nita uttama shloka vartaya. With every rising and setting of the sun, what is it doing? Ayur harati. It is actually snatching away, taking away the life. So we may celebrate happy birthday to you. It's not happy for people in general. Bhagavatam says it's not a happy occasion. But for one who, what is Bhagavatam's last line of this verse? Tasyarte takshano nita uttama shloka vartaya. If someone utilizes this time, this precious commodity of time, in uttama shloka varta, in discussing the glories of all auspicious glories of Supreme Lord, then that is worth celebration. Then that time is properly utilized. So this time we have between birth and death. I was recently hearing very interesting definition of birth and death. Nice way, one senior Vaishnava, he was saying, what is birth? What happens at birth? It is that moment when we have, when one has no name, but only breathing. Breathing starts, right? Birth is the moment when breathing starts, but no name. The child does not have name. Afterwards, after 1 month, 2 months, names are given, right? Name ceremony. And what is death? You are saying it is that moment when we have lots of names, but no breathing. Right? There's so many names we gather in the life, right? So many upadhis. And all of them are there, but no breathing. And while running behind these upadhis in this world, while gathering those names, just not only means the names we have, but the upadhis like designation. Oh, this in charge, that director, this engineer, this doctor. All these upadhis which we gather, which we all have to keep here. Nothing comes at that time. But running behind those upadhis, we forget that this precious time which we have to be utilized in developing our Krishna consciousness is lost. So, Prahlad Maharaj says this in his instructions to his friends. Tat prayaso na kartavyo yata ayurvyaya param na tatha vindate kshemam mukundam charanambujam. He says, tat prayaso na kartavyo. Everyone has to do some work, everyone has duties in this world to perform, but prayasa should not be done. Over endeavor should not be done for which is easily available to all species of life. That kind of happiness, one should not do over endeavor for it. tat prayaso na kar do yata ayur vyaya param, जिससे आयु का व्यय हो जाएगा. आयु will be lost, time will be lost. Na tatha vindate kshemam. This does not give ultimate benediction, ultimate benefit. Na tatha vindate kshemam mukunda charanam. What is that ultimate benefit? Lotus feet of Mukunda, the lotus feet of Radha Madan Mohan. So this is what we should do, utilize our time, and this introspection should be also part of today's celebration. While we have everything else, we should also take out some time and introspect on today's day. So that is also important today. So this is just a little bit about today's occasion I wanted to speak about. Now coming back to our verse today, in the series of verses. So this is, we will once again read the verse and translation. Evam sa manaso hamso hamsena pratibodhitaha swasthastad vyabhicharena nashtam apa punah smrutim. In this way, both swans live together in the heart. So which are these two swans? Soul and super soul, Atma and Paramatma. So before this, when Narad Muni started speaking, quoting Avigyata. So I'm not going to the context, we had discussed that yesterday also. So when this Avigyata, who is super soul, who is instructing Vaidarvi, who's Puranjana becoming woman, so that context you are aware. So already there was discussion that how there are these two swans, soul and super soul. When the one swan is instructed by the other, So Atma is instructed by Paramatma. He is situated in his constitutional position. This means he regains his original Krishna consciousness, which was lost because of material attraction. So this is the purport. So there is a similar verse, many such verses actually. One such very famous verse in Bhagavatam, third canto, where Lord Kapila is speaking to Mother Devahuti. He says, Bhukta bhoga parityakta dushta dosha cha nityashaha na ishwarasya shubham dhatte sve mahimni sthitasya cha. He says, Bhukta bhoga parityakta drushta dosha cha nityashaha. When a living entity sees dosha in the bhoga, in the when one sees the fault of sense gratification, fault in the sense gratification, then he gives it up. And how one sees that fault, that is mentioned in today's verse. When by the instructions of super soul, in the form of Paramatma sitting in the heart, and also most importantly Chaitya Guru, as the Guru, which super soul comes out as instructing spiritual master also. So when by hearing from spiritual master one understands the fault of material sense gratification, he gives it up, and then the living entity becomes independent and stands in his own glory. This is in third canto, this verse. So Srila Prabhupada's purport here is very brilliant. Srila Prabhupada, just within one or two paragraphs, in few lines, Prabhupada has summarized whole philosophy. Whatever needs to be known, right? So that is the genius of Srila Prabhupada. An Acharya can give every page of Srimad Bhagavatam. Prabhupada gives the entire philosophy is summarized practically. So Srila Prabhupada tells us in the purport, why is Jiva entangled? What is the cause? What is the process of disentanglement? How that process should be followed, and what is the difficulty? What could be obstacles? Everything is mentioned in this purport, if it's properly analyzed, right? So let us try to see where Srila Prabhupada explains all this. So what is the cause of entanglement of Jiva in this material world? Why is Jiva entangled? So Prabhupada says, I'll quote from here. As soon as he declines to remain subordinate and tries to become an enjoyer, he begins his material conditioning. So there is one line you will find in the purport. So Prabhupada clearly says, what is the cause? Independent mentality to enjoy separately from Krishna. That is the cause of material conditioning. So that is the material, that's how material entanglement begins. Then how to disentangle? Prabhupada says, when one gives up his unwanted attitude of superiority, he becomes situated in his original position. Give up that unwanted attitude of independent mentality, superiority, that I can enjoy separately. That should be given up. And then Prabhupada says, how do we do that? How to give up that enjoying mentality? Some will ask this. So Prabhupada says, one has to select a bona fide spiritual master and become enlightened to his original consciousness. In this way, the individual soul can understand that he is always subordinate to the super soul. Submissive service. So like that. And what should not be done with spiritual master? Do not try to do not try to disobey or show your academic qualification, Prabhupada says. One cannot understand simply by academic qualification, but one has to learn the science of Bhagavad Gita from realized soul, the spiritual master. So we have this very famous pastime in Chaitanya Charitamrita of Ishwarapuri and Ramachandrapuri, both the disciples of Srila Madhavendra. So just analyzing this pastime, Ramachandra Puri, also a great personality. He is also a disciple of Madhavendra Puri. So would Madhavendra Puri not have instructed him? Did Ramachandra Puri never heard from Madhavendra Puri what is the, what is the understanding, what is real Krishna consciousness? He did. But then why later he got, confused to a point that he even offended Madhavendra Puri, as we know that past time. So because that is the purpose, just not by just selecting a spiritual master, but also following his instructions very properly in life. Just like Ishwar Puri's example on the other side. He served, he followed this. Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. So if this is not done, just by having a spiritual master and clicking photograph with spiritual master, Prabhupada would say, is not going to help. One has to follow the orders of spiritual master as one's life and soul. One has to make the words of spiritual master as one's life and soul with complete obedience and surrender. So we have this disease of, as Prabhupada also mentions here, of independent mentality and independent plan making. And as the verse is saying here, one has to give up that independent plan making and accept the instructions of super soul. It is very difficult for us. We can't hear the voice of super soul. We don't know where is Krishna, what is his instruction. It's very difficult to understand if we want to directly understand Krishna. But Krishna sends spiritual master mercifully by whose example, by whose guidance, by whose words, it becomes very easy for us to understand what should be done, right? So we have to accept the plan of Guru as, or words of Guru, instructions of Guru, order of Guru as one's life's goal. There is a verse in Srimad Bhagavatam, it's quoted in, not Bhagavatam, this is quoted in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela. This is Lord Ram speaking. Now Ram Navami is also going to come. Now this is Rama Navratra, right? It's going to start today. So he says, Nirvikaram Gurur Agnya Maya Karya Mahatmanaha Shreyo Hi Evam Bhyastascha Mama Chaiva Visheshataha. This is Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 10.146. It's quoted in CC. So Lord Ram is saying, the order of spiritual master must be executed without consideration. That means without any hesitation, without reservation. Because there is good fortune in such an order for both of us, is speaking to Lakshman. In particular, there is good fortune for me, good fortune for everyone. So the point here is, spiritual master's instruction should be accepted without reservation. One should not have his independent plan while accepting the orders of spiritual master and executing them. There is a very interesting discussion in the 15th chapter of 7th canto, where Avadhut Brahmana is instructing Prahlad Maharaj. Okay, I don't have. So there are many solutions to different anarthas are mentioned. How to conquer lust, how to conquer greed, how to conquer anger, and many different instructions are given, like asankalpa jayet kamaha, by making plans with determination one should conquer lust, and then like that so many instructions are given. And at the end of these 5-6 verses, there is this verse which is very interesting. This is 7:15-25. So he says, Avadhut Brahman says here, Rajastamascha satvena satvam chopashamena cha etat sarvam guru bhaktya purusho hi anjasa jayet. He says one must conquer the modes of passion and ignorance by developing the mode of goodness. And then one must detach from the mode of goodness by promoting oneself to the platform of Shuddha Sattva. Understood? How to do it? It's so difficult. Give up passion, ignorance, come to goodness, then detach from goodness. How do I do it? Right? And then he makes it very simple. All this can be automatically done if one engages in the service of spiritual master with faith and devotion. In this way, one can conquer the influence of modes of nature. All this, the big list, long list is there. All that can be easily done just by engaging sincerely in the service of spiritual master, by accepting the instructions, order of spiritual master as one's life and soul. Everything can be accomplished. So that's a quick solution to everything. All this. Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, just by treating the root cause of an ailment, one can conquer all bodily pains and sufferings. So to root cause we have to find out and treat. Similarly, if one is devoted and faithful to the spiritual master, he can conquer the influence of modes of material nature. Like that, Prabhupada says, Yasya prasadat Bhagavad prasado. Just by pleasing the spiritual master, following his instructions, one can actually achieve, uh, every kind of success in spiritual life. So, how do we do that? How to follow the orders of Guru? So, let's, whatever little time we have, um, I'll try to quote from Bhakti Dhir Damodar Maharaj. He has written his book called Spiritual Connection. So, in that, he speaks about different qualities, how a disciple should accept the instructions of spiritual master. So, for little time, we will try to dwell on that. So, he says the instructions of spiritual master should be accepted as it is, with complete faith, with one pointed intelligence, at all costs and risks. Those are four things you can say. As it is. Accept the instructions of spiritual master as it is, without speculation. Not that what I like to do, only that part I may want to do. That not like this. But what is the instruction of spiritual master, as it is, should be accepted. Once Sripad Ramanujacharya, very great acharya in this Sri Sampradaya, he was walking with his disciples going to some place, and they happened to sit near a pond, and they were taking prasad. And Sripad Ramanujacharya, instead of washing his hand elsewhere, he put his hand in the pond to wash. After honoring his prasadam, he put his hand in the pond. And these remnants, in the pond, so they were taken by some fishes. Some fishes came and ate in the pond. And suddenly, magically, in front of everyone's eyes, these fishes transformed into four-handed, Vishnu form, Vishnu Dutas, and went back to Godhead, Vaikuntha, in front of everyone. So the disciples were very surprised. What a magic, Guru Maharaj, just by eating the, Mahaprasad from your hand, they have gone back to Godhead. So one of the disciples asked Ramanujacharya, we have taken your Mahaprasad so many times. Every time, we get the remnants of your Mahaprasad, we have not yet developed, I don't see the two hands coming. Why this is happening? These fishes could do it. So Ramanujacharya replied, I am quoting Maharaj from his book. Maharaj says, Ramanujacharya replied, that is because of your mentality. When I give you an instruction, you do not follow as it is. You twist it with your speculation to suit your own ignorance. Therefore, such miracles are not happening in your life. So he says, Ramanujacharya told him, as it is, you have to accept. That's what Prabhupada also translated, as it is. So do not, if we are not understood the instruction, one can go and clarify. Till the time we have understood it well. But do not speculate, and we do it deliberately at times. Sometimes, in my own case, I'm trying. So we have to accept it as it is. The first qualification. How to accept Guru's instruction? As it is. Second, with complete faith and with one pointed intelligence. And who could be a better example for this than Srila Prabhupada himself? Srila Prabhupada read this. Prabhupada would say that I read this line in the purport of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Vyavasayatmika buddhi ekeha kuru nandana bahushakahi anantasya buddhayo vyavasayinam. So, in that verse, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that a disciple should accept the instructions of spiritual master as one's life and soul, like that. So Prabhupada, when he read that, Prabhupada said, I was very much affected, Prabhupada would say. And that is how Srila Prabhupada did. In his life, he accepted the instructions with complete faith. Right? He went to the Western world with practically nothing in his hand. And we see how Srila Prabhupada's dear disciples also, like here we have His Grace Anandamaya Prabhu and many of his disciples, right, just accepted the instructions of their Guru and whole life. Yesterday we were hearing from Prabhuji, and now we have this wonderful abode of Radha Madan Mohan. We have wonderful facilities, good prasad, and everything is available. But if you hear from Prabhuji for the struggle of last several decades, when it started from scratch, it was not like this, right? Now it is good, everything is nice. But so much struggle with complete faith they have underwent with one pointed intelligence to accept the instructions of Guru. And then he says that one has to accept the instructions of Guru at all costs and risks. Sometimes the instructions of Guru may not even seem practical to the material intelligence. Right? When Srila Prabhupada instructed his disciples, I want this Chaitanya Charitamrita, entire Chaitanya Charitamrita in 2 months. Whereas I think Rameshwar Prabhu would say, Prabhupada, we have done great we have done great progress. Now we are producing one book in 1 month. They thought Prabhupada will say, Hari Bol. Very nice. Prabhupada said that's not, 70, I think 18 volumes in 2 months. That was, and Rameshwar Prabhu said, impossible. Just impossible. And Prabhupada said, that is, impossible is a word in fool's dictionary. Right? So, and they did it. How, when they accepted the instruction with faith, taking at all costs. So, if we hear those wonderful leelas of those devotees, they would work in shifts 24/7. Just because Srila Prabhupada has said it will happen. They had faith. Because unless they had faith, how could they actually do it? They had faith it could be done because Srila Prabhupada wanted this. So with that, and then they could actually do it. And we were hearing from, I believe it was His Holiness Devamrut Swami Maharaj, and he was also part of that transcendental party. And he said the day when, it was published, after 2 months, they kept all the Chaitanya Charitamrita on the altar, all the books. And when the darshan opened on that day, after 2 months, when the whole books are ready, on the altar they were. So everyone was in tears. Everyone in the temple hall was crying tears. Everyone, and he said everyone was just chanting, Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Everyone was just glorifying Srila Prabhupada's empowerment and potency. This can happen when one actually takes the instructions of spiritual master as his life and soul. I remember once I was discussing, I was asking one very senior devotee that how, the whole movement started with such a meager facility. Everywhere we go, we understand, it just like yesterday, Prabhuji was very kindly mentioning to all of us, the youth group here, that, when the whole thing started here, it was, there's no facility, there's just little, meager facility. There's nothing in Hyderabad, there's nothing in South India practically, no Krishna conscious movement. And now we see such explosion of Krishna consciousness. How did it happen? So when I asked this question to one very senior devotee, he told me very, very interesting answer. He said, 1 and 1, how much? So I said 2. He said, no, this is wrong mathematics. He said 1 and 1. He said 1 and 1 in spiritual life is 11. 1 and 1. I said, what is it? What do you mean by this? He said, one bona fide spiritual master and a sincere disciple, a sincere follower. When they come together, the energy which is generated is so much that miracles will happen. The energy of thousands of people. It's just because Srila Prabhupada accepted the instruction of his spiritual master, one sincere follower, and the bona fide spirituals, and the same thing was done by the disciples of Srila Prabhupada, then we see that explosion has happened. With meager people, with no resources, a handful of devotees. But such amazing miracle could take place because of that. While one follows the instructions of spiritual master, Maharaj also says that spiritual master will test a disciple. Srila Prabhupada writes in Bhagavad Gita 3.34 purport, quotation of Prabhupada, one must be able to pass the test of spiritual master, and when he sees the genuine desire of the disciple, he automatically blesses the disciple with genuine spiritual understanding. So many times we have this, that we have read a lot, we have heard a lot, why that genuine spiritual understanding is not there? So here Prabhupada says, because of receiving the mercy of spiritual master, one will actually be able to have that. And for that, one has to pass the test of spiritual master. So disciple will be tested. Any example where disciple was tested by a spiritual master from Bhagavatam? Dhruva Maharaj was tested by Narada, right? Yes, that was one. So there could be surprise tests also, when I'm going through. So there could be scheduled tests and surprise tests sometimes. And we have to prepare ourselves to face this test. So I'll just read a few wonderful lines. Maharaj says, what is required is that we are sufficiently prepared for these exams. A progressive devotee is not one who makes advancement sometimes, but is one who makes advancement at every moment of his devotional life. Not that sometimes he is enthusiastic, sometimes he is making. No, he is progressive all the times. As a devotee, if we are not going through challenges in our practice of Krishna consciousness, then we should understand that we are not making advancement. We are simply floating on the surface of Krishna consciousness. If we are not having challenges to overcome, if there is no test sent by Guru and Krishna, and we are not preparing for it and facing it, then we are just floating on the surface of Krishna consciousness. And how to pass the test? Here Maharaj says, by the mercy of Guru, when we please Guru, it is possible. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim yat krupatamaham vande Shri Guru Dinataranam. And finally, last few minutes, I will speak about this one. Another aspect of following the instruction of Guru is, as we are discussing, taking risks. As we said, at all cost, or taking risks. Srila Prabhupada writes in Bhagavad Gita 11.55 purport. Prabhupada says, there are many examples in history of devotees of the Lord who risked their lives for spreading God consciousness. The favorite example is Lord Jesus Christ. He was crucified by non-devotees, but he sacrificed his life for spreading God consciousness. So there are devotees who have taken risks for the pleasure of spiritual master. There is an example in Ramayana of Angada. When Angada sees first time, when they come in front of Ravana's army, all this Vanar Sena. So Angada sees Ravana, he is so enraged. How this is that person who has given so much pain to my Lord Sri Ram. So he suddenly jumps over to the other side and starts fighting with Ravana. It should not have been done. Lord Ram later mildly chastises him that this was foolishness. But his love for Lord Ram was so high that without even considering, for the pleasure of Lord, he took the risk. He jumped over to the other side, started beating Ravana. Also got some punches and came back. And but he had that. So he took the risk. It is said in Ramayana, it did please Lord Ram, and also, but he apparently showed as if he is displeased. It is said. So when a disciple takes risks for the mission of his spiritual master, to follow the orders and instructions of spiritual master, that really pleases the heart of spiritual master. I remember this, many times I have also told these devotees, the example of, as Prabhuji was also from France, there is another great devotee in our movement, Hare Krishna Mandakini Mataji. She is a Prabhupada disciple from France only, French bodied. And we were in one yatra listening to her, and she looks very simple, with two chotis and very simple hearted, and we thought okay. And when she started speaking her life story, one of Prabhupada Vyas Puja day, she was sharing, and then everyone was stunned, pin drop silence hearing about her life story. And she was mentioning how she became devotee in France and then moved to London, and under the guidance of her guest Yamuna Mataji, she was serving Lada Londoneshwar, and she would pray to Londoneshwar that please give me strength. Someday, if spiritual master tests me and gives me a service, which is very difficult, then please give me strength to say yes. That would be her prayer, she would say. And it so happened that Srila Prabhupada went to Russia. And as you know from Leelamrit, Prabhupada could only meet very handful of people because of that iron curtain. Prabhupada met that Ananta Shanti Prabhu, and he was Russian. And he told Prabhupada, Prabhupada, you will go back, but I need help here. I want to propagate Krishna consciousness, but some help should be there. And Prabhupada said, how that can happen? Can I send some devotees here? He said, no, this iron curtain, nobody can come from outside. Nobody will get visa so easily. They can't come. So they said, what is the way? He said, if some of your lady disciple can come and, she can marry me. This Prabhu told, he is Russian. Then she can get citizenships and then she can preach and we together can preach. Prabhupada said, okay, I will arrange. Prabhupada flew from Moscow to Paris directly. Prabhupada was scheduled and Prabhupada called for Mandakini Mataji. And now just think and Prabhupada doesn't know this person, this Ananta Shanti Prabhu also, just 2-3 days of, interaction with Prabhupada. And Prabhupada calls Mandakini Mataji and Prabhupada asks that this is the situation, would you go and marry him? Now, she has not seen, she has not heard about that person for for such a sacrifice for someone. And she said, when Prabhupada asked me this question, the first thought came to my mind was, thank you, Radha Londoneshwar, for answering my prayers. That something spiritual master is asking, which is actually so tough for her to decide. And she said, yes, yes, sir, right? Yes, Maharaj, yes, Prabhupada. So like that, and rest is history. She got married, and then how Russian preaching took shape eventually. So many devotees, so many centers eventually. So that was the seed of sacrifice. So like that, a disciple should take all risks if required, and at all costs. Not whimsical risks, definitely. There is a condition. Under guidance, one should be ready to go to an extent to serve spiritual master. And we have such illustrious examples here in the form of all such wonderful Srila Prabhupada disciples and the followers of Srila Prabhupada who are teaching us this. So I will just read this few words from Bhaktidir Damodar Maharaj and end my speech. Maharaj says, having unflinching faith in Guru's instructions and complete trust in promise of Krishna to always protect the devotees of his devotee. That is the promise of Krishna. I will protect the devotees of my devotee. A disciple is, by having that faith, a disciple is transcendentally inspired to sacrifice his life to assist the spiritual master in his service to his spiritual master. Such risks are most welcome. By taking such bold risks, a disciple proves to the world the level of conviction he or she has in the protection of Krishna and the shelter of bona fide spiritual master. So by taking such risk, the disciple proclaims to the world, proves to the world the conviction he or she has in the protection of Krishna and the shelter of Guru. So the point here was, when we take the instructions of spiritual master with this spirit, in this particular way, then one is easily, one can situate oneself in his original position. What is that original consciousness? Jivera Swarup Hoy, Krishnera Nityadas. Right? But if we have not taken the words of spiritual master with this kind of intensity, then it is very easy for Maya to drift us, even after understanding the philosophy, even after understanding this and hearing about it and reading about it. So we have to take the instructions and order of Guru with great intensity. Then we can actually overcome. So this was my little presentation. So all that was for me. Actually what I spoke, I seek all of your blessings so that I can follow a little bit of what I just quoted from very illustrious Vaishnavas. So none of this is mine. So please bless me and pray for me also. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki, श्रीमद् भागवत महापुराण की निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल. Thank you so much. Is there any questions or comments or protests? There are many senior Vaishnavas here. They will. Samartha Krishna.
And Krishna consciousness or attaining perfection, what exactly we mean by that? Because there are examples of all types. For example, when some difficult instruction was given, so some devotees have risked their life for fulfilling that instruction, and by that they have pleased the Srila Prabhupada. But in the course of fulfilling that instruction or after some time, uh, in terms of their position in Krishna consciousness, we found that they are not stable in that position. For example, this CC example only you could read. Like we saw Rameshwar Swami was there. He could not maintain his position like that. But we also hear that because they have rendered some service to Prabhupada, at the end of their life, many Prabhupada came to them personally and took them back to God. We hear in many examples of Prabhupada examples, although they got drifted away, but because they rendered service to Prabhupada. So this is one example where a disciple risked his life and he pleased the spiritual master. At the same time, we found that he could not continue his Krishna consciousness all the time. He drifted away. At the same time, the spiritual master protected him because at least once he pleased him. And the other example we found is there are disciples whose names also you might not heard. They were simple devotees. We did not find their name in Leelamrit or here there. But they were like, and they didn't took any much big risk also. They just chanted their 16 rounds and just went on. But they remained consistent in their position in Krishna. They remained in the movement. They remained in their practice and consistently they practiced. And now also they are stably there going on. Many of them are sannyasis, maharajas, like that. So this is one thing which is understandable, the second one. But when we talk about the first one, because in the first example, these people took a great risk. But it appears very heartbreaking that why couldn't they continue their position, means why are they not protected? So because so much emphasis is given on satisfying the spiritual master, so then what was lacking from their side that they could not continue, and from that what can we learn, that despite trying our best to satisfy the spiritual master, what else needs to be taken care so that we don't drift or fall from our position like that. I don't know whether I made it.
That was a purported question. So, my little understanding in this regard is, as I definitely, while presentation, while speaking, uh, one should be calculative, while taking risk also, not on one's behalf, but one should be, um, on a practical sense, one should also be under guidance, definitely, while doing that. Now, for many of Srila Prabhupada's disciples, um, it was not, it was even known to Srila Prabhupada that many of them will face difficulties. But if some of them would not have come forward to take that risk, even at the cost of very challenging situations, probably we would not have ISKCON where we have the mission right now. Like Srila Prabhupada would say that while fighting the battlefield, on the battlefield, there are some soldiers who will have to stand on the front line. If everyone says, I'll be on the back side, then something becomes the front light at some, right? Then only battle happens, right? So definitely there are checks and balances to be very careful about. And now that the mission, our movement has matured, many lessons are learned, many systems are being placed, and now I think we have a very, very good net of protection of very senior Vaishnavas who have experience of what can go wrong and how to be careful about, and a very good sadhana standard morning program facilities. And so uh, so we cannot probably compare with the situation of devotees in the early days now. So the principle stands that they were ready to take the all risk for the spiritual master. Yes, that is the mood of disciple, which also should be, that principle continues. But what they did not have facility, I would say. Many of them were sincere, but the kind of facility was required. Now it is there, and we have to be careful. Srila Prabhupada also told, probably we should not judge, but I think, Prabhupada emphasized that you read my books, don't only distribute, right? Prabhupada also told morning program Prabhupada gave many instructions, but that time the environment was not there. That's what I understand, right? But now, yes, we have, and we should be very careful about following this, being in the net, and then taking some risk according to guidance should not be difficult. So he says Gaurang Prabhu once said that it did not, if it did not take, would not have taken a great astrologer to tell in that time what's going to happen with some of these people. The sannyasis were just 1 year in the mission and then sannyas, and then another 5 years they are gurus. People are washing their feet and drinking charanamrit. So he says it doesn't take an astrologer to tell what is the risk here. But if some of them would not have taken that, then also, so all are glorious. Those who took that front risk, some those who their nature did not suit, they are also glorious. That's my understanding in that regard. So someone can add in. Yes. But yeah, your question was what we should be careful now while applying. Yes, we should be very careful about the systems, the sadhana standard, which regular sadhana, uh, accountability to seniors, right? While taking some challenging seva or risks, we have to be very careful about it, right? Just like getting into the COVID zone, we had this mask and sanitizers and everything ready. We know we are going to the risky zone, but we are prepared. Same thing. So when you take a risky seva, then be equipped also. And I think now that facility is at least available. If we are sincere, we can take that definitely. Hare Krishna. Last.
Proji, we may, like often we hear that the spiritual master or guru is pleased with the mood or the intent with which we do the service. Uh, at the same time, meaning someone who is able to assist Srila Prabhupada more, in the sense bring more jivas or build many temples, because they are doing rendering more service, and the they will obviously also please their superiors much more. So my question is that often some of the qualities or uh, things which are required for these sevas, they are often uh, like not cultivated but already given. Like someone might be very intelligent or someone might be able to manage very nicely. So these are not sort of things that one cultivates, but they are already there, and just by engaging them, they're able to please their superiors. So, how do we sort of reconcile this or get a proper understanding of this?
No. The, yes, the proper understanding for this is it is not just by the results or the big services. Just like Lord Ram was pleased with Hanuman and what do you call that, squirrel, both were putting their best. And Lord Ram says, I was equally pleased. I am equally pleased with both. There is no difference between, you know, his satisfaction, his pleasure with them. So similarly, a spiritual master, it's not that he is displeased with someone. So basically, according to one's capacity, one should try his best to serve. Right? It is not the best. It may not be the best, but it is his best. And Guru and Krishna sitting in the heart can understand. So we have this pastime we have heard. So once Srila Prabhupada was sitting in a room, and you know, mm, it was, okay, I can take names. His name is Burijan Prabhu, he only quotes. So Burijan Prabhu came, his Burijan Prabhu came and offered some donation to Prabhupada, what he had collected from his book distribution. And it was some probably $200. And Prabhupada was very happy. Thank you, he was so grateful. Thank you. And then Burijan Prabhu just went and sat. Prabhu was really very happy, very pleased with him. Not just showing, but actually pleased. And then after few moments, His Holiness Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj entered. And he gave $10,000 to Prabhupada as donation. And Prabhupada said, only this much? Prabhupada was not happy at all. So now it's not about the quantity. Srila Prabhupada was, according to the capacity of two, Prabhupada's expectation from one was more. But this is shared by His Grace Bhurijan Prabhu only. So he says, I understood that Srila Prabhupada is not looking for the quantitative results only. He is looking for the offering of from our heart. Whatever Krishna has given, what software we have got from Krishna, right? Using that, software, hardware, everything, we have limitations in Kali Yuga with all this. With that best possible service, if we are trying to render, that pleases Guru and Krishna for sure. So we did not have that comparative mentality. So one who has capacity, if he doesn't do to the best of his capacity, that will displease spiritual master. And one may have less capacity, but he is doing his best, that will please the spiritual master. Does that answer you? Roji, anything you would like to add? Hare Krishna. So thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Jai God.